Hello, my name is Jennifer Liu, and I am a third year biology major at the University of California, Santa Barbara. I am a pre med, and I plan on attending medical school after I finish undergrad. I am specifically passionate about sports medicine and orthopedic surgery. At UCSB, I interned for the sports medicine department as an athletic training intern. Here, I am in charge of working alongside certified athletic trainers to treat Division I athletes. I conduct treatments such as cupping, ultrasound, and mobility stretches on athletes, and I work at NCAA games for pre and post game treatments. Being exposed to a numerous amount of exercise related injuries as well as rehabilitation strategies has really grown my interest in sports medicine, in addition to orthopedic surgery, because many of our athletes are referred to an orthopedic surgeon nearby. I recently shadowed at this orthopedic clinic and I really enjoyed my time there. I'm also a research assistant for the Close Relationships Lab, which is part of the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences. In my lab, I am researching the relationship between physical well being and one's emotional capacity in intimate relationships. For fun, I really enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking by myself as a way to de stress, but I also really like cooking with friends as a way to bond with them. Through cooking, I have also learned a lot about my own culture by reading about the history of the recipes I make. I have also learned about many other cultures as well, which is really cool, through cooking dishes of other cuisines. In COVID, my biggest lesson was not to be so invested in what others are doing all the time, but instead to just focus on myself and what truly inspires me. I went to a very academic and cutthroat high school, and I was constantly comparing myself to the students around me. I would see what they were doing and try to mimic them because I thought there was a formula to building the perfect college application or resume. So essentially, instead of following the path that best fit me, I would try to place myself in a box and follow the path that other people were taking, instead of pursuing my own personal interests and passions. So during COVID isolation, I was no longer being bombarded by the achievements and extracurriculars of other people. I finally had the peace to explore what I was interested in, and this is how I stumbled upon sports medicine. I visited a sports medicine physician for chronic back pain because I was a student athlete all throughout high school. I did fencing. And during my visit, this is where I realized that sports medicine is a specialty that I am genuinely interested in. So ultimately, during COVID, I was able to focus solely on myself, and that helped me learn more about what I am interested in, which is sports medicine, instead of constantly comparing myself to others and trying to do what they were doing, instead of neglecting my own passions. My favorite class in college is surprisingly writing. And this is surprising because I've always struggled with writing and I've never enjoyed the process of writing a paper. However, in freshman year, I took writing too, and I met this amazing professor who helped me view writing in a new light. She taught me how to write with purpose by thinking about who my audience is and what their expectations are by reading my paper. At the end of this class, I wrote a paper on how to read scientific papers. So I didn't write a scientific paper, but instead I wrote a guide on how to read scientific papers. This was super helpful because I've also struggled on reading scientific papers in the past. But while researching for my paper, it really helped me understand how to approach scientific papers. I understood why scientific papers are formatted in the way they are, from the introduction to the methods to the data, etc. I also learned to place myself in the author's position while reading a scientific paper, which really helps me currently. Whenever I'm assigned a scientific paper, I know how to approach it, and instead of being intimidated, I'm excited to learn about what the paper has to offer. The most interesting thing I have learned in college is about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. I learned this in my psychology class. So essentially, intrinsic motivation is when you engage in an activity because you find it inherently satisfying and you enjoy the act of doing it. Partaking in the activity is rewarding to you and therefore it has better results because you tend to seek out new challenges and you're more likely to work through obstacles. Whereas extrinsic motivation is when you partake in an activity because you expect an external reward, such as money or a good grade in a class. And this really spoke to me because, as I mentioned earlier, I did a lot of things in high school, not because I was interested in them, but just because I wanted to have a good resume. And I think this was the cause of me fizzling out of many of my extracurricular activities because, again, I wasn't genuinely inspired by them. However, now that I know what I'm truly passionate about, I try to have intrinsic motivation. I try to apply the concept of intrinsic motivation to inspire me to do things that require extra effort, from reaching out to athletic trainers for extra guidance, and even to my own workouts. I try to be in the moment and intrinsically enjoy them because I want to be a healthy and fit individual. What I can bring into a clinical setting. So I have a lot of clinical experience from my internship. So I am very comfortable with patient interaction and conducting treatments on athletes, which are our patients. I also have very strong communicational skills because I'm in constant communication between athletes and athletic trainers. I also have shadowed various physicians throughout high school and my college experience, so I have a good understanding about the process that takes place during appointments, as well as how to conduct myself in a healthcare setting. In general, I'm a very positive person and I'm always excited to learn new things, and I can contribute my optimism and hard work to the team. I'm also a hard worker and I constantly push myself to the highest standard that I can achieve. You can be sure that I will fulfill my responsibilities to the best of my abilities with integrity. Thank you.